Hello there, my name is Jimmy Hippenstiel. I am the current director and choreographer of Funny Bōnz with P3 Theater. And I want you guys to come out and support us because if you're ready to have a good time, you need to come see Funny Bōnz. If you want to learn more about us, all you have to do, listen to this conversation. I fell in love with theater at a very young age. My mother used to do PTA shows, and she would rewrite all the lyrics, and that's kind of also where I got my inspiration for doing sketch comedy, because she would write these hilarious lyrics to songs that we all knew and loved. And she started getting me on stage when I was about 5. I actually did a tap dance to Hello Dolly with my girlfriend at the time. And after that, she recognized how much I loved it, and she took me to my first big audition when I was 8, where I discovered a group called Junior University, which is the children's theater I grew up in. And I learned so much from being in this group, and I stayed with them until I was 17, and then I moved on and did other theater ventures that made me love it even more with Citrus Singers, the Young Americans, Cal State Fullerton. I was a musical theater major, and then I just had a career in theater after that, mostly as a dancer at first. Very similar to what I was saying about my mother, I fell in love with sketch comedy, realizing that you could create lyrics. I've always been a fan of changing lyrics. I think it might date back to Mad Magazine, maybe when I was a kid, which I used to get in my stocking every Christmas. And I just love the idea of taking a song that people know and changing the lyrics to make it a funny parody of some sort. And sketch comedy is just always been great to me. I love Saturday Night Live. I love everything about sketch comedy. It's different from improv. It's very different. Well, sketch comedy in comparison to improv is also a love of mine. I did it at Disney for many, many years. But improv, you're basically flying from the seat of your pants. You're making up stuff off the top of your head, usually taking suggestions from the audience, which we could do in sketch comedy, but with Funny Bōnz, it's more of a set format as far as the sketch comedy is rehearsed, and then we can go off from there if we need to, but it is a show that is rehearsed and is planned as far as the comedy goes. How do we create skits? Well, John and I get together usually, and we'll go out to a restaurant and we'll talk about what would be funny, and we just get various ideas. As you're living your daily life in entertainment, as I do every day, you might hear a song, that would work well for this, or John will send me a link to a song and say, what do you think about this for our show? Our show is a little irreverent. It's a little, not for not for everyone, but it is funny. It is very, very funny. You just have to come in with an open mind and go with it because we love what we do, and I think that shows to the audience. Sketch comedy is good for the soul, especially in today's world, because I feel like everybody needs to laugh, and I think we're all in the same boat there. We went through a rough couple of years together. It's not even entirely better yet. We're not out of the woods yet, but with every laugh, with every successful performance, with every theater company that survives, that's a plus in the arts world, and arts are so important to us, to even for the mere fact of taking us away from the world. So if you can take yourself away from the craziness and the zaniness of this world and everything it throws on you day after day and laugh a little bit with some strangers in an audience, that's healthy in my book. I heard about P3 Theater Company on the phone. John and I go way back, actually. We used to do theater at the Curtain Call Dinner Theater in Tustin together, and that's where I first met him. And we did a lot of musical theater together. And then John got this passion to carry on what he had started back in Florida with a group called Laughing Matters. And he had done a lot of dinner theater out there and regular theater as well. And he wanted to get that going in California. And so he called me, picked my brain, and said, do you want to be involved? And I actually directed their groundbreaking first debut production of Evita, which is where I first met you, and it was wildly successful, and then the year 2020 came, and we all know what happened there, but we've survived, P3 has survived, John has more passion than ever before, and we're moving forward. Again, I heard from John, and when he first approached me, he wanted me to be in a summer version of it. My schedule, I do run a musical theater academy as well for youth, ages 4 to 18, and it keeps me pretty darn busy, and so my schedule isn't always fully available, but if somebody calls me and I want to do something, I do my best to make the time. He happened to call in the summer, and we did a Fringe Festival version of Funny Bōnz, so I actually performed in the show first. And that was my initiation into Funny Bōnz, and I kind of learned what it was all about and what John's vision was. And after that, he asked me to step up and help him with directing duties and the creation of skits and sketches, and we added more choreography to the numbers to make it a bigger venture than it was when we did it in the summer. But I had a blast doing it in the summer. I'm just not fully available to be in the show all the time. What is our new Funny Bōnz group about? Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is talent. We had an audition. We had many people come through, and we picked the best of the bunch. We feel like we have a good variety of people. We have a guy named Spencer who is very experienced in sketch comedy. We also have people who are great singers and dancers, but are also very funny. Some of my ex-students, actually, from the Musical Theater of Orange County who were in Avita, they took the next step to join Funny Bōnz as well. So they know me, they know the way I work, and I can collaborate with them on a level where they're very comfortable. So I think our group right now is extremely talented, and I think everybody should come out and see them so you can see it firsthand. I've kind of always done both acting and directing simultaneously. I do a little bit of both. I became more of a director after 40. Like I previously mentioned, I was primarily a dancer through my 20s and 30s in musical theater on cruise ships in Vegas and New York, and mostly in California where I work. And then after that, I just kind of took the move into directing. A friend of mine called me to help him on a show at the Musical Theater Academy, and after that I took over the whole thing. And I've been there about 21 years. And over there I just direct and choreograph, and like I said before, it does keep me extremely busy, so I don't always have time to perform. I have little slots like in August, where I have 3 weeks, or February I have a week. And it's usually pretty consistent throughout the year where those little openings are. So if something fits in there and I can perform, I will, but it doesn't happen very often. I was just on stage this summer for the first time in 6 years, actually, other than Funny Bōnz, which I did last summer. I want the audiences to laugh. I want them to let go. I want them to not give a care about anything in the world except for what they're seeing on stage. I want them to be non-judgmental. I want them to be accepting. I want them to keep an open mind. I want them to have fun. That's the most important thing. If you let yourself take the ride with our cast, you are going to have fun and you are going to laugh. Trust me. When we are directing a Funny Bōnz sketch, we are mostly looking for where's the laugh, what works, what doesn't. Sometimes it's a little bit hit and miss even. We find, John and I just had a meeting the other day, and we have a song in the show that is hilarious, but in my opinion, it didn't work in the one spot. It wasn't the way to kick off the show because you want to grab the audience. So you have to kind of play a little bit, and you have to try things out, and you have to see what works best in what spot. And that's what we do, and we always look for the major laugh. Sometimes even while you're watching it being done on stage, you're like, I got it. I know how to make that better. I know how to get a bigger laugh there. And that's what we try to do. Our actors are so talented, they can usually find it without much help. But we're there to keep a vision and to give them suggestions as necessary. There's two reasons. Two reasons people must attend our Funny Bōnz performances. To have fun and laugh is the major reason, but also support the arts. John is trying to keep P3 going. There's a lot of theater companies I know that didn't survive what we've been through in the last few years. If you get out there, if you go to support a live theater venture instead of a movie, it helps so much keep the arts alive. I know everybody enjoys live theater. So sometimes you just have to be reminded, hey, there's live theater out there instead of a movie. There's live theater out there instead of going to the park or going to the beach. If you have an option to see live theater, it helps our world. It really does. I hope we keep growing our Funny Bōnz group in the future. We have a wonderful group right now. They're not, but it's an ongoing process and it's an ongoing performance process. So they're not always available because they are talented. So they go out and do other things sometimes. So we want to get a big enough group that we have people to fall back on, that a lot of people know lots of different tracks in the show, which are the performances. You know a lot of different songs that you can step into, so that we can perform at least once a month. People can come see the show, and it will be different every time you come to see it because it'll be different people, different music, different lyrics, and it's just a good time. Come more than once. Bring your friends. If you have a good time, come back, please. Well, P3 Theater Company and all theater companies, I don't know if the general public realizes this a lot of times. Theaters thrive primarily on donations. Everything from your live theaters to the Pantages and Segerstrom, 75% of their cost at least are achieved through generous donors that support it. Sometimes the smaller groups, people don't think to support, and it's on a smaller level, so it's easier to do. But every single theater group needs your support. They need donations to survive, and if you enjoy what you see, the most important thing is to get the word out and to help a little bit financially to keep us thriving. What do I say about John Peterson? I would not be doing this if it weren't for John Peterson. When he reached out to me about Funny Bōnz, John is a dear friend, and he kind of disappeared out of California for a while, and we lost track of each other. We used to be really tight, really close, and we were still close, but didn't see each other as often. This has been a chance for John and I to reconnect on it, not only on a friendship level, but on a professional level, on a collaborative level. We just enjoy each other. We enjoy being around each other. We love to laugh ourselves, and so this is a good way to do it. Funny Bōnz rocks. You need to come out and see it. Come in with an open mind. You don't know what you're going to see, do you? So just come in, enjoy, sit back, relax, and get ready to have a good time.